Good morning, evening, afternoon, people, and welcome back to People of Proxima's podcast. I am your host Priyanshu, and today we have a very beautiful lady as our guest, Allison, on our show. She's a self-portrait NFT artist, tarot reader, and a music NFT enthusiast. So, Allison, how are you?
I'm doing really great. I hope you're doing well.
I'm also doing great, thanks. And I would like to thank you to come to the show and be part of this podcast.
Well, I'm really grateful that you asked me to
So
be on here. Yeah.
that's great. So, listen, tell me what is NFT? What's it's it's a big thing going on around. So, what is NFT? Like, basically, how will you explain it to people who don't know about it?
About what is an NFT? Okay. Okay, well, this feels like a test. All right. Well, I know that it stands for a non fungible token. And truly, the way that I like to understand it is as a placeholder of value. So you think about a piece of silver or a piece of gold, and that thing is a placeholder of value. There is a certain like currency that you can trade for this item. So I look at an NFT as a placeholder of value for things that exist in the cryptocurrency world, and I guess you could ultimately say within the metaverse. But this is a placeholder of value that exists as something minted on the blockchain that can be carried across multiple platforms. You don't have to be beholden to a particular website, so it's decentralized. All of this information is available to any website which utilizes the blockchain that you mint your token on. Okay, so how's that so far? Is that a good explanation so far?
Yeah, it is like, of course, first of all, it's not a test. And yeah, it's a good explanation for the people who don't know what is NFT and, who want to become part of it,
Yeah.
right? Like it's all about, I think they have to study about blockchain, DAO and a lot of cryptocurrencies, especially, Ethereum, Polygon, Solana, Tezos, which is your, thing. So yeah, I think people, who are coming into it, they have to study a lot about it. I'm also studying a lot about it. And guys, if anyone is interested, go follow Ellison. I will leave her Twitter handle there. You can follow her, and she is an amazing person. You can join her spaces, talk to her, and your doubts will be cleared if you have any, right?
Thank you.
So, Ellison, yep. Like, what made you dive in this, NFT world? Like, how you started in this?
Yeah, so I actually I learned about Bitcoin in 2015 was the first time I heard about cryptocurrency. And so I've been following Bitcoin and lots of different stuff about cryptocurrency since for I guess 7 or 8 years now. And um, I started to hear on those podcasts and amongst those people, they started talking about NFTs. And it took a long time for me to even remotely understand what that was, to be able to even imagine being able to participate in it. I didn't understand it at all. Even though I already knew about crypto, it was still really like, oh, it was like I liked it when I could hear people talking about it, but I was like, I don't really understand what it is. And then it was like the more I just absorbed information, like I never felt like I figured out a system that led me from completely not understanding to fully understanding. Because I mean, I mean, we're all still trying to figure out what exactly we can do with all of this stuff. Like the infinite potential is there. So, you know, I think once I realized it was really when I understood what it was, once I understood what it meant, I was like, oh, I want to do that. I want to be in that community and do that stuff. And because it was like, it's like very free thinkers. It's people who are willing to try something new to try to create a new society. And that is something that, like, as a spiritual person, I'm trying to encourage and support things that I feel are an energy of mutual sharing of responsibilities, of being accountable more to a community than to an authoritative figure. or an authority that sets the rules. I really enjoyed the aspect of how important it is to make friends and support each other and support your friends, and show that you are basically accountable as a moral human being. And when there are, and I've already witnessed it, it's just since I've been doing NFTs, I've witnessed a scam happen, and the person it but I saw the community in action supporting someone who was done wrongly, and everyone collectively saying this other person did something wrong, and basically shunning them because they proved there was like a public meeting of all the people involved, and everybody was like, we don't trust that person anymore. And I really enjoyed that sort of very non-violent but mob justice aspect of it. So I know that that's saying a lot for like what got me into it, but it looked like fun, and it looked like people who were willing to try something new. And I think that is really what I've enjoyed the most about being there so far, is just meeting people who are, um, we've all wanted to do something creative and felt like, I think in the past, that you had to have a job and then you could have a hobby or something like that, but it seemed very difficult to make the creativity your main focus. And I think crypto really encourages that to happen. It encourages people to embrace their artistic gifts and creative forces, and that's something I just really wanted to be a part of.
Yes, exactly. Like, as you said, that there is no central community or central, company, we can say, ruling the NFT community or cryptocurrency. So people can come together and get united and tell other people that if this community, this person is not real, they're fake, right? So that this is what changing, this is what mainly changing the society or community, right? That's most important. And like, we people are earning from this. They have made, full-time thing NFT, they have made it a full-time thing. Or people who were not able to sell their art, right,
Mm-hmm.
they are selling their art, and they're back on track. So that's also what, making it more reliable. And according to me, people who think, right, according to me, people who think they can change anything from NFT are the ones who will, like yourself, right? And that's it. Like, it's, you correctly said that. That's amazing. Yep. So, and also what I feel is, like most of the people in my country, and so they know what NFTs they are getting to know, right?
Mm-hmm.
But until and unless they won't enter into it, or someone don't enter into it, they won't get it, right? Like, when you, as you said, when you knew about NFT, but when once you understood what it meant, you were like, let's go, right? The same goes for me. I was like, let's go and boom something, let's create something, right? So it's all about understanding the NFT and program and community, and most importantly, creating a good community around your project, around your, NFT art, and all that stuff is also important. Correctly said.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, there are some beginners like myself, right, who want to attract some buyers, for example, or sell their NFT art. So, what are your suggestions? What they should do? Like,
Well, that's the
to,
$1 million question. It's like,
like
I don't
a
know.
tip. That's it. A
I
tip.
made a
That's it.
sale. I made a sale last night on OpenSea.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I just saw it.
yeah, and that's very exciting for me because it helps me a lot. Um, Lots of personal stuff, but you know, it was very helpful. But the person who bought that NFT from me is a friend that I've had for over a year on multiple platforms. We met through my podcast, and then we were friends on Instagram, and then we were friends on Twitter, and then he bought my NFT. So this is a relationship that I've been cultivating for a year, with a friendship with a person. It's a genuine connection. So that's who bought my most expensive NFT that I've sold so far. Um, so community is extremely important, and I think if you want to sell NFTs, the most important thing for you to get started on is to get on Twitter and get on Discord and make friends and make genuine connections and start to build your community and research. Even just having something creative that you do and saying, I'm researching right now, I'm researching NFTs. Um, you know, that's something really easy that you can do. You have to immerse yourself in it and absorb a lot of information. So I think um, if somebody has already gotten into it and we're looking at what can you do once you've made that, once you got NFTs on the internet, let's say,
Mhm.
I don't have an answer for everybody because it is so unique. Some people really like to get in spaces and talk in spaces for 12 hours a day or 24 hours a day. I can't do that. They take a lot of energy for me, and so I've been posting more. I've been like tweeting stuff out, commenting on people's posts, all of that. Like, there's not a formula. I really don't think that there's a formula. I think make believing in your art or whatever you're selling or whatever you're doing, I think is important. So to make sure that you really care about what you're doing, because that's going to make it come across better. But I think just to know that you're going to have to play around and experiment and figure out your own rhythm, because uh, I was just talking on the phone with somebody about that before this interview, is how, like, I wanted to make the most of the momentum that I had from this sale. So what do I do next? And it's like, you can do whatever you want, because really there's not a formula to follow. Um, for me, it took patience has been really important. And
That's most important.
that's probably huge. But also, I mean, yeah, it just really depends on the platform. It is such a huge immersive experience that there's not really a straight answer right now, I don't think. Other than you do have to reach out and connect with people. You can't make a sale without connecting with people. So that's a big one. But
Exactly.
I don't know. What's your advice? Or what's your idea? What would you tell somebody that would say
Um,
that or ask that question?
so of course there is no a formula written on somewhere or maybe on OpenSea or available that this is the formula you have to follow. There
Yeah.
is no formula, guys. So it's just about, as Edison said, it's about creating connections, genuine connections, most importantly, making friends. Like met a lot of people on Twitter Space, and Ellison, Ava, and all other people. They are now my friends, and we talk a lot about different stuff, and that's amazing. So that's important. Joining spaces is important, you know, and like maybe appreciating people, right? If I met someone on Twitter Space, right, I felt that connection. Just go to their profile, see their art, and if I like it, I reshare it, retweet it, and put some kind of comment. If I cannot buy it,
Mm-hmm.
I will just comment it and appreciate them. That's also important. That's how we build connections, build community. That's important, and it's all about. After all, it's all about making genuine connection, as you said.
Yeah.
It's all about connections, and sometimes there are a lot of people on NFT space who do scams, right? Like they come people's comment box or DM and say that promote on this, promote on that, and but they have zero followers, zero following, zero post, and they just try to scam people. Even on Instagram, it's like happening a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We should not follow them. We should follow the organic way, making connections. That's best.
Yeah.
Right. That's important, I guess. Without because without this, we will be if we are greedy, right, and we choose a shortcut, we will be at zero, we won't move forward, right? It's all about making friends, community, and genuine connections. That's it.
I think actually what you're doing is important too. Like did you do podcasting before you started doing NFTs, or did you just start? Is
No,
this your first like podcast?
it's my first podcast. Like, yep,
So
I'd never started. I never did it before.
yeah, well, because I think what you're doing, like making it multi-platform, so you do YouTube and Twitter and maybe some other ones I don't know about, probably maybe Discord, or I don't know if you do anything like that yet, but I have noticed a lot of energy picking up just from connecting my Twitter and my Instagram, and having cross-platform action that way, and then doing Discord, and so basically making it multiple outlets, for the information that you're putting out. So I think what you're doing with this podcast is a really important tool for you, that you're
Yes.
doing. Because do you have NFTs out yet?
Yep, I have like my Genesis collection, right? I'm working on the project, right? It's a long-term project I have planned, making physical, making basically my project is about making today's sci-fi science fiction to tomorrow's reality,
Okay, yes,
right?
I
The
remember now.
we
Yeah.
see, yeah. So that's what I'm working on. So it's my Genesis project right now. Then
Mhm.
there will be a collection and all that stuff. So yeah, and also as you said, multi-platform. And with this podcast, we are able to meet people. What I feel is we are able to meet people and know them more, right? Better because I cannot travel to your place. It's quite far, right? And same goes for you. But doing this on multi-platform podcast and all that stuff is also helping a lot.
Yes, and
Right.
I can tell you, I'm gonna be recommending everybody do your podcast, because I think this is a really like cool idea for helping people get to know each other. So thank you for doing this, because that now this feels really fun and like um,
Yes,
a really
exactly.
good idea.
Like,
Really
and
good
thank you to
idea.
you. Yep. Yes, it is. I think you can also start your own podcast if you like get time out of your schedule. You should also do that.
Well, I had one. I did used to do one in the past, but I haven't updated it since like May of last year. It's been a really long time. But I did want to start. I
Mhm.
probably will. I have a microphone. I got a bunch of stuff. So that'll be in the works, but who knows when.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe you can resume it someday. Like it will be good. I want to be the guest.
Yeah.
I'm giving an invitation to my own self. Yep. So you know there are a lot of things going on in NFT and all that stuff. So what do you think that this NFT thing is a long-term thing or a short-term thing, or it will, help people for a long time? What is this? Like I heard Elon Musk and he is not sure about NFT and metaverse. And I heard Gary Vee, he's quite confident about NFT and metaverse. So these big people are talking about, some are in favor and some are not. So what is your point? Like, what is your view on it?
On the metaverse, I couldn't hear the
Maybe
first
a
part.
metaverse and
The
NFT. Like,
beginning of the question got kind of it was kind of messed up,
all right, all right.
so I didn't.
So I will repeat. It's totally fine. So my question is, like, lot of people like Elon Musk are saying that NFT and metaverse will not last for a long time, right? And Gary Vee is quite confident on NFTs and all. So what do you think? Is NFT a long-term thing or a short-term thing, or it's just a hype which will, it's just a balloon which will
Mm.
burst after some time?
Well,
What's your
so
view?
I think it's probably a mix. Um, I think it's going to change dramatically. So I think that it will change to a point that what we're doing will probably be unrecognizable at some point, because I think it'll be far more streamlined and complex and different. I think that in the long term it's going to look so different that we might not even call it the same thing. Does that make sense? But I don't see it. I'm pretty sure the technology, the blockchain stuff is all. I feel really good about it, because I've seen how it has come together and blossomed just since I heard of Bitcoin, like everything that's happened. For example, when I first heard of Bitcoin, it was so hard to buy it. You had to like put in your bank account and they would like send some 2 cents to your bank account and then pull it back, or it was so weird how it worked. I couldn't do it. I was like, this is too difficult and I can't do it. And over time, it got to the point where I could, buy it on my phone. I was able to do that. And so I saw it become more simplified and streamlined. And there are definitely, I still think it's extremely early in the technology, and that things like security risks, or the way that it seems like there is so much just excess, like what do you like spam and crap, like scams and spam and all of that bullshit, bots and stuff and whatever. I'm pretty sure we're gonna come. I'm sorry, I just cussed. But I'm pretty sure
That's cool.
that
That's cool.
it's going to change a lot, because even I don't know, how long have you been doing NFTs?
Like from last 4 5 months, I studied for 3 months, then came to Twitter and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like
So
I
like less than
educated myself for like
But it's
2 weeks.
different now,
Hmm.
right? It's different than when you first started. I'm
Yes.
sure there's stuff
Yes,
now that's done
exactly.
differently. OpenSea over the past year, like it's completely changed. And I've had to change everything I'm doing just because of the way that platforms changed and market trends and all of this whatever. I've had to be making tons of change, and I just started, like I got probably an OpenSea in June, I think, or July of last year. I think it was June.
Hmm.
So not even a full year, and there's tons of different stuff. There's tons of new people. It's totally changed since October, even, is when I really got into it. So it's going to change, and I think that that's something that for me personally, I get very attached to. Like once I know how to use something, I get really attached to it, because I'm not like a gifted technology person. Um, that's something that I have to like,
Yep.
I'm like, if you can teach me how to do this one thing, I can do that on my own. But it is just something that I have to like try really hard at. And so I get really attached to doing things the way they are. And I've already had to just detach from fully, really sticking with the same thing for a long time, because, I used to do stuff on, well, I still use the new Hicket Nunk, but I used to use Hicket Nunk for the Tezos, and I really loved it. And then, like a month after I started using it, the website got pulled, and then it got re-upped, and then everybody was fighting over should we use it or not, and it was a whole thing. And
Hmm.
so I just let go of getting attached to the way things are at any point, because I think it's just going to adapt largely. But really speaking candidly, I feel very optimistic about NFTs. I don't think that it's like
Same here.
a dumb trend. I don't think that at all. So to me, it's kind of like no harm done if it doesn't work out. But I see it. I just see it taking on so much energy. I feel so. My heart is actually like beaming. Like now that I'm talking about it, even it's like I feel like there's just such potential for. I just have to like feel it, but I feel so optimistic that this exists, because I live out in the woods, uh, far away from the city.
Hmm.
And when
Yeah.
I went out there, it was because the energy was horrible in the world. Everybody was paranoid and scared, and I mean, everybody is still like that. Like I mean, I'm in that too at times, but um, it was so
I
awful to
totally agree
be
with that.
around people. It just didn't feel good, and the way that I feel when I go out in the world now is totally different than it was 5 or 6 years ago. And I really do. I feel like I shifted into a better dimension, actually, um, by going with my heart and like getting away from the city. I feel like I shifted, and because I believed in crypto, I kind of shifted into the dimension where crypto is taking off and getting momentum and becoming this new world of possibilities, just because I feel like we just played out the old world puzzle game where somebody ends up with all the money at the end. One person or a few people have all of the money, and everybody else is left working their ass off for like breadcrumbs compared to what certain people are able to do for themselves. And anyway, so I feel really good about it. I don't think that I feel pretty comfortable and confident. And when I talk about it, my heart like really lights up. And, oh, I forget the saying, but there is something I read about one time that talks about searching for the feeling when your brain and your heart meet and feel very content at the same time. And that's how you know you're in the right direction, because sometimes your heart feels something but your head doesn't agree, and sometimes something feels very logical to
Exactly.
you but your heart's like, no, I don't want to do that, even though that sounds great. So
That feeling, I have that feeling a lot these days, if I tell you. Like, this is like mostly all the time these days. Like, heart heart is saying something else and mind is saying something else. Like,
okay.
don't know what to follow.
Hmm.
Yeah, like
Well, just from our interaction, I think you have a tendency to overthink. So listen to your heart more,
exactly.
because you're comfortable listening to this. So I feel that if you
Hmm.
listen to your heart, um, that's more likely to like lead you in some directions.
Yep, I like mostly listen to my heart only. But let's see, like
Oh, really?
sometimes they both get confused. And, yep,
Oh,
that's why like there are a lot of things which I did uh, by following my heart. Like in my country, like it's all about graduation and all that stuff. But I started my business when I was in high school, and that was quite difficult. So I followed my heart and all that. Like I did a lot of things by following my heart.
well, that's really good. Um,
Yeah.
but I think you could even follow it more.
Yeah, I will definitely.
Yeah.
That's the best thing we can do, right? Because
But
as you said, it's. Mhm.
yeah, okay, next I rambled for a long time about my predictions on crypto. So I did want to pull you a card. But I wanted to ask if you had another question before I do that, because I can shuffle for a minute.
I don't have like we. I have a few questions. Like we can do it after the card, after pulling my card,
Okay, yeah.
I guess.
Let's
Yeah.
see.
By that time, I can just answer. Just continue talking
Okay.
regarding the question I asked. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's fine. All right. I
Yeah.
wanted to pull you
So as you
one.
said, mhm.
Okay, I got judgment.
So as you said, oh my God. So it's quite judgment. Yeah, it's
Yeah. So is it me? I
like
don't know
it's.
if it's mirrored for you, but so this is a deck by Salvador Dali, which is an artist that I really
Mhm.
like, and a lot of these cards have butterflies on them. So it is interesting that you said you had to you basically did something even though maybe people didn't believe in you. Okay, so I
Yeah.
feel very much that you are able to stand up to the judgment and that kind of stuff, like doing things that feel right to you, even if people don't necessarily like see what you see at the beginning. Which I definitely think that that's true for you, because everybody that's doing NFTs has basically dealt with somebody, or you've seen, if not directly to
Exactly.
you, somebody on the internet is like, oh, NFTs are so stupid or whatever. They have something to ridicule. Okay, so this is about letting go of fear of judgment. Okay, and I mean, truly, I think what you're doing with your podcast is uh, I think you're in the right direction. I think this is very good for the heart of the NFT community. I think for this, I'm really wanting to encourage you to continue to reach out to people to come on here. And because I, for one, will recommend people can come on. You know, it's everybody's new, so we're all just having to meet people, and it's like who knows who's what. So, um, I've got your back as
Exactly.
far as trustability and
Thanks a lot for
all of
that.
that. So, okay, so really, and maybe for everybody who's watching this card probably applies to everybody. This is telling you to really lean into letting go of fear of judgment and doing things despite judgment. Because truly, if you can like continue in the face of ridicule, you can be so fearless and powerful and able to do absolutely anything that you dream of, because that tells your higher self that it does not matter. You are not accepting negative information from external sources, that you follow your own heart and you get your motivation and your inspiration from within you. And so you're not concerned about um, whether other people, you know, think you're weird or whatever. Because this could also be about spirituality, because I know that at times I find myself being self-conscious of being like a woo-woo spiritual person. But judgment is a huge part of that, because I used to be very judgmental of people who believed in like other dimensions or aliens or anything weird. I was very like um centered in the 3D reality, basically, was where I basically felt existence, and refused. I had to very intentionally overlook a lot of stuff that I was experiencing,
Mhm.
that I was just labeling as whatever. But we're all gonna have to let go of this, because I mean, I've already seen it with crypto, like the validation that people receive now over
Exactly.
cryptocurrency, that it used to just be not even barely talked about or anything. Um, so I guess this is to say, like, if you're feeling judged for your art, it's a very, very sensitive place to go on the internet and all of us be sharing our creations and our passions with each other and trying to sell them to each other, basically. I'm getting really tired of saying the word vulnerable, so I'm trying to expand my vocabulary and say things other than that. But it is
Mhm.
very vulnerable. We're in a very tender, sensitive place to be sharing all of our selves out there, in the hopes of becoming a part of this great community that supports each other in an abundant way. Because even though we all start for like money, I guess, which it
Mhm.
is about. It's ultimately about having an energy flow with the people that you resonate with, and being able to do that. So, all right, well, that's what I get from that card.
Great. Thank you for doing that for me. I'm really glad. So I totally agree that we should, of course, follow our heart and let go of judgment. What others say about us, and what anybody judges, it should not affect our life or our work or anything, because after all, what I believe is those people are not going to pay our bills, right?
Yeah.
That's what I feel, what I believe. If someone is not going to pay my bill, I don't give a damn about them, because I'm going to at end of the day I'm going to pay my own bills. So why to care about anybody, right? And thanks again for pulling that card for me. And I will keep that the judgment thing, that I should not care about other people's judgment in my mind, and it will be with me forever for in my life. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like quite motivating too, right? After listening what you said about judgment, and everybody who will be watching this, again, I will like to repeat what she said, that we should not, think about other people's judgment or what they say about us or about our work or cryptocurrency people, or if you have an NFT, then what people are saying about your art, about your project or whatever, just don't take care about, just don't listen to them, because at last they're not going to pay your bills, they are not going to come and feed you and put a spoon in your mouth. and all that stuff. You're on your own. So listen to your heart, not your mind. Just do what you feel love like. That's it.
Yeah.
So let's move forward with it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as you said, you are also music NFT enthusiast, right? So what basically is music NFT, right? And how it is different from another other arts, or PFP projects, how it is quite different. Like, it's a good thing, music NFTs and all that stuff. People are releasing a quite good collection of music, but like how it differs from other arts.
Well, I mean, I'm definitely in a learning place as far as music NFTs go. Um, what I want from music NFTs, or what I have been seeking, is to. I'm hoping eventually they'll have like uh, probably a Web3 player where you can sync your music NFTs to it, and that may already exist, and play your music that way. But I would like that to be the way that I listen to music, because music is
Mhm.
really important to me. It's how I make all my magic, pretty much, is by singing and dancing, and like just the types of music that I listen to. It's a huge part of my life, and when I started doing Twitter, I started listening to Spaces all the time, and I quit listening to music. And I really saw what that did to me creatively, to be just in a different brain pattern. I was in a much more like attentive, like paying attention and listening to what people are saying. It was just a different brainwave that tired me out in a way. And so I was really missing music, and it just sort of clicked one day to start joining NFT music rooms so that I could listen to music, but also be working and doing Twitter, and be present in that
Mhm.
environment. So that's how I've been using them. I mean, they are unique, as is every single person individually who's using NFTs. I think with every type of creative venture, there is potential for uniqueness within all of the, like, just the way that everybody oh my goodness, the way that everybody uses their NFTs. So um,
Mm.
I don't have an answer for like exactly how they're different. It's just um it's something. It's like I'm realizing how much we create what we want to participate in through NFTs. So like if I want to use if I want to start collecting music on Tezos, that's what I've been doing for the most part. I don't know. Yeah, I've only bought on Tezos music NFTs, and because I can buy, it's very affordable. I can get a lot of music that way. I can get a lot of experimental stuff that way. Um, and if I want to live in a world where the way that I listen to music is by collecting NFTs and having them on in my wallet, and plugging that wallet into some kind of player, and that's how I play. If I want that to exist, I just have to start basically going out and talking to musicians and saying, "Hey, please make music NFTs because I want to buy them, and I want to buy them on Tezos." And that's, what I do. And it might not stick with Tezos. I've learned to just detach from favoriting anything, because anything can happen. So whatever, very wonderful blockchain it is, right now my favorite is Tezos, but it could be anything in the future. Who knows? But if that's how I want it to work, I just have to go out and participate in the community and figure out a way for that to work for me, and for everybody, and maybe listen to the other ideas that people have, as far as how they want that to work.
Exactly. Like, yeah, I totally agree with your part. Like, going to people, telling them the musicians who don't know much about NFT, but they want to part of it. So we should, of course, tell them, because music is something which relaxes people, which if they are stressed, it reveals the stress. It helps a lot for me, of course, and it gives quite a good positive vibes. And whenever I join any music space, and the space we have yesterday, hosted it, it was so amazing. Like, um, Filippo, his name was Filippo, and the other guy, they were amazing singers. So joining these kind of spaces are quite positive, relaxing. And of
Hmm.
course, we can also, I think, you talked about linking to Web3, music to Web3. There is in Spotify, I think there is something like that. We can connect our wallet.
Oh, you can.
I think that's a beta version.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard, I saw a YouTube ad a few days back. So what they are doing is they're connecting their wallet to Spotify, and they're just, I guess, purchasing it from OpenSea or something, and that's transferred to
Okay.
that
Yeah.
Spotify, and
Well,
people can listen.
yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
it does exist. I mean, it's so funny because yeah. That's what I was
It's quite
saying. I was
good.
like,
Like,
yeah,
I
it
just
probably
saw.
exists, and I just don't know about it
Mhm.
because I don't use Spotify.
Yeah.
I don't use Spotify, and honestly, I don't know how I
Mhm.
feel about even using. I feel like I'm a little bit more anarch anarchic than that.
Mhm.
Because I just never have used Spotify. Um,
Same here.
I've never used it. Yeah, I
Like,
I just
mhm.
um I guess I still sort of use iTunes, but I just had all my own music in some other way, some other format, and so yeah, it's like kind of
Mhm.
funny because at first when you say yeah, like okay, Spotify is making that functionality, I'm like that's cool, but um
But nah, it's like
yeah, like let's come up with
kind of
some non-Spotify ones though. Let's come up with some new ones that
exactly
are cooler or something. We got to be a little more rebellious.
exactly like Spotify is mostly everywhere, and the song system or music system, Spotify is mostly everywhere. Then there is iTunes and all,
Yeah.
Apple Music. Sorry, Amazon Music is also there, but Spotify is like no for NFT and all. It should be a specific platform, right? I think I should. I'm an app developer as well, so I will be creating this.
Yeah.
Thanks for the idea.
Yeah.
Thanks for the idea. Like, but yeah, for sure, if there is particular dedicated platform for music NFT and all, where we can connect our wallet, and not Spotify, of course, and it will be better, right? Because people can just connect their wallets. Of course, it's Web3, so no centralized stuff, and we can just connect our wallets, listen to our favorite artists we
Yeah.
have purchased NFTs from, and it will be amazing. Like, if we look, so if we see in a way that NFT is changing everything, from music, from artists, from businesses, everything. Like, it have changed a lot of things, and it's amazing. Okay. So it's amazing. So let's move forward. And as you are in, it's my next few questions are related to spirituality, as you were talking about magic and all that stuff earlier. So, you know, I am also kind of into spirituality, but not that much. So, what basically is spirituality? Like, what what's the definition, right? I think it doesn't have any specific definition. I don't know that much, but what it is, what's spirituality?
Well, I am definitely not the person to define it. I'm very into intuition. I'm very, very
Mm-hmm.
into like not necessarily even like I have read and I've done a lot of research, but most of my main core things that I think about the universe or I think about reality are things that are I completely came up with them on my own. I don't require outside validation, for those things. So I don't have a
Mm-hmm.
definition at all because I think it's very much up to each individual person. Um, you know, I yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm very intuitive. I am definitely into making up my own rules. and not having rules and not being beholden to any certain philosophies or anything like that. There are lots of things that I end up resonating with, but hardly anybody outside of myself do I fully attach like agreement or consensus or whatever fully. Like everybody's got a different spin on it and everything. So, for
Yeah.
me, I guess when I talk about being spiritual, it was acknowledging uh, a non-physical existence, um, energetic. I'm seeing. I'm like, wow, I'm getting some interesting images as I try to answer this. Actually, but like this big, like collective energy, I guess you could call it,
Hmm.
that you go in and out of with different bodies, basically. And there's things that happen down here that reflect on the non-physical side, and there's things on the non-physical that reflect down here. So, um, yeah, I know that's a crazy answer, but that's a really hard question
No,
to
it's not.
answer.
I'm really sorry for that, for asking, but yeah, like it came in my mind. I was, thinking to what should I ask,
Yeah,
and it came in my mind, so I thought
no, I
I should
mean,
ask this because
it's funny. It's a funny question,
because
but it's
yeah,
really hard to answer, truly.
exactly. Like spirituality is something no one can answer, I guess, because for different people it's different meaning of spirituality. For me, it might be different. For you, it might be different. So yep, no, I guess no one have a particular answer for
Yeah, it's
this.
hard.
Yeah, exactly. So let's move to our last question. That is, you know, you are mostly in words, right? So like I also like words. In love with the nature and all that stuff. So how your life changed when you become the part of nature and move towards and all that stuff?
Okay,
How
well,
your life changed?
this was interesting transformation that I couldn't have predicted. Did not know, even though I was studying it, but I truly didn't understand what was going to happen, which was I feel much more in tune with a sort of wild version of a human. I feel much more in tune with being able to feel shifts in the sounds that the birds are making in the woods that tell me what's going on around us, or what does the sky look like in the daytime, in the nighttime. I'm so much more observant of every single environment that I'm in. I hope I'm not veering too far off of this question, but um, but like
No, you're not. It's totally
I
cool.
just still there's a certainty and a confidence that I have now that maybe just comes from being aware of my surroundings in a better way than I used to be. Like that before I spent time out in nature, I felt really nervous, but it was like I didn't have the ability to coordinate my senses to process everything in a sort of whole picture way of what's happening all around me. But now I feel like I have a much wider awareness of like in physical space, even of what I can observe at once. um does that make sense at all? Like so
Yes, of course it makes sense.
yeah, because it's like and now I really feel it when I'm cut off from those abilities. Like if I'm really far underground or something, or I'm really like separated from like the open environment and stuff, I feel very aware of that. But there is a belief there's a loss of fear in a way, because I think I understand how to take care of myself in a very primal way more than I did before I went out and was able to be a part of nature and like just learn how to use all of your senses in a way that's useful even in urban and city environments and stuff. It's you're still using the same parts of your brain and stuff, but I just oh, I was way more stressed out, although I'm probably still pretty stressed out now that I've been doing NFT stuff. But
Hmm.
I keep there's a story that I've been saying because it really was like an acknowledgement of a transformation within myself, which was last summer, like late spring, early summer. We had a great berry year. So there's a dirt road that I don't walk it as much anymore because I'm doing Twitter stuff, but I've probably walked thousands of miles on this dirt road on the property where I live, and it goes through the woods, and it's a well traveled path. There's deer trails, there's animals you can see on the ground because it's dirt, soft, whatever. You can see the footprints, so you
Mhm.
know what animals are traveling at that time, and you can just make so many observations about what you're around by traveling this path. And there was berries like blackberries and dewberries and blueberries, and every kind of berry was growing on the road. And like every day, me and my kids would go out and like for a meal, like a full on morning time meal, just be picking berries and eating them as we went. We never like harvested the whole bush and brought them in and like made jam or anything like that. We just ate what we could eat like animals do, you know? And
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
really felt this participation because I knew that deer and all kinds of stuff was eating these berries too, but there was always enough for me and my kids and the animals. We all had plenty, but we only ate like just till we were satisfied, and we didn't take any more than that. And just the ability to do that, the ability, like me being able to witness my children, and even my dog has learned like things to forage from me, like different at different
That's awesome.
times. Yeah, like I'll start eating something, so she's like, okay, well, I'm gonna try that, and if it doesn't, like she'll eat it after that. She knows what they are, and of course, I never eat something that I don't know what it is or anything. But and I
Yeah.
always, anytime, you just take a little taste. If you're not sure, just see, how you are, and almost you're good. But
Mhm.
that's when I get food, when I forage, I really feel so in tune with a part of ourselves that I wasn't in tune with, and it's strange because as I've become very spiritual, I've also become much more grounded and literal in the 3D world. It's not really about, like, I've just learned how to see what's right in front of me. It's very obvious to me now, whereas things used to be kind of mysterious in the past. But, um, so it was like, I really felt myself getting in touch with this kind of wild part of me that um, has helped me with fears of rejection or fears of whatever, tools that really feel like they help me on Twitter and stuff like that because um,
Mhm.
I don't know, there's like a confidence in my ability to care for myself ultimately that makes me not that afraid to try stuff. So that's a really long answer, and I know I've gone way longer than I said what we would, but
Yep. Like it's totally cool, but I got my answer. Like, so it have changed a lot in your life. Like I think your internal powers have unlocked and you can see the world in a different way, which is quite better. And when you go to urban areas and all that areas, it's like you can see different things which usually normal people can't see. That's amazing, right? And eating with animals, being connected to them is quite a strong thing, amazing thing. Like normal people can't do it, if I tell you, right? If you ask someone to do it, they won't be able to do it. Maybe I won't be able to do it, to be honest, but it's amazing. Like that's quite impressive, right? And that's like quite daring too. So qu- good to know that, like how is life at that push part of the world, like in words, how things happen and all that stuff. It's amazing. So good to hear that.
yeah.
So that was my last question. And guys, go and follow Ellison. She's an amazing person. And if you want anything to know about NFT or maybe more different stuff, go join her spaces. They are quite good, entertaining, knowledgeable, and you might find me there talking to her and getting stealing the knowledge. I will be stealing the knowledge from her and everybody else, so you might find me there too. So, and go follow her in Twitter handle, and let's rock NFT space together, guys.
Thank you so much.
Yep. So